Now, here's your hosts, the League Dad, Kevin, Mitchell, and Alistair.
What's up, All-Inners, and welcome to another episode of the All-In podcast presented by Excellency Esports. I am just so happy to be back because it's been a couple weeks. We've taken a break because, LCS was done. And there was a little gap before MSI was about to start, and it's starting this week. So we had to get back, and I hope you guys didn't miss us too much. I missed the boys here, the co-hosts. Thank you for being here once again, Kevin, Mitchell, Alistair. Let's start off first just by catching up with you guys. What have y'all been up to? How your game's going? How's life going? What you been up to?
Yeah, I've just been, chilling, waiting for MSI. It was a nice little break, honestly, but it got to about one weekend, and then I was like, I want some pro games, man.
Right?
I want to watch something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a little... So MSI could not have come sooner.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just hanging out, working, playing some solo queue, not really stressing about it.
Nice.
I'm so glad the meta is different these days. People are playing Lee Sin. No more Hecarim Udyr. Thank the Lord. We're going to get more into that later, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it. So on my end, Landscapers knocked down my internet for the whole weekend. So this is my
We
first
almost
time
had an
with
emergency.
internet
Yeah.
in a while. I got a new mouse. It's the Superlight, the G Pro Superlight, and then I am participating in a Valorant tournament that Mitchell was
Nice.
hosting.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
I've been grinding away at deathmatch, realizing how bad I am at this game, and trying to get good by 2 weeks from now. So
Cool,
let you
man.
guys know how it goes.
Nice.
I've mainly just been grinding solo queue, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go into detail about that, man. Don't be shy. Come on. We've been following Alistair's climb closely because he's like the highest ranked out of all of us. So let everybody know. Let everybody know the roller coaster of a journey you've been on right now.
I went on a win streak. I got back to Masters. Demoted since then, unfortunately, but
That's all right, man. You made it. That's all that counts.
I'll get it back.
Yeah.
Screenshot, just
Yeah,
screenshot. I'm
screenshot.
Masters. Hey.
There you go, man. Well, is
Got
there...
the emote to prove it, all right?
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, look, I saw it. I posted in Discord. I was so excited. I was like, yes, our boy did it again. He touched Masters, and you'll get back there. I have full faith in it. But as far as League goes, have you guys had any particular champions or builds you've been trying out lately? Because we are getting into a newer meta. Hecarim's finally not in the jungle, like you said. A whole bunch of stuff. I know personally, me. When Alistair says he hates a certain support, I gravitate towards playing it. So I've been playing Tank Senna a lot. I went on a 10-0 win streak, so thank you for that, Alistair. I also started playing Zyra, who Alistair hates playing with. So I played that, and I've been doing great. So thank you for all the suggestions, Alistair, for telling me all the support champs you hate playing. It's giving me a lot of ideas. What about you guys? Anything interesting y'all been playing lately?
I'm just back on the Lee Sin grind. I'm
Nice.
so happy he got a little buff. Honestly, he's been playing more in solo lanes than jungle, but
Yeah.
I'm still just gonna play him in jungle. He's a ton of fun. Diana, really fun, really broken. So that's been also my jam. And Gwen.
Oh,
My
yeah.
God, is Gwen so fun to play. She's like kind of okay. She's not super great. She doesn't have a ton of good matchups, but like once you get rolling, once you get like, an item or two, she's really fun. She's got a lot of mobility, a lot of just like snippy. I'll cut people's hair and stuff, so it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a less wholesome thing I played. I played Morgana in jungle. And,
Ooh,
the
I hate
dumbest
you.
experience in jungle in a while. To be fair, I haven't played a lot of League, but when I did, I was like, this is silly. So it's really strong, clears really fast. It's pretty safe. Its only weakness is duels. If you miss your Q, you're probably going to lose precincts. So yeah, she's fun. Don't play her. She's gonna get nerfed into
Don't
the ground.
play,
It's not worth learning, I guess, unless you really need to like win a promos or something.
Is it really learning Morgana? She's like one skill shot.
I mean, she's one skill shot, but there is a big difference between a pro player shooting that thing and a regular player shooting
Yeah.
that thing.
I
A lot of
guess,
people
I
just
guess.
miss that all the time, and it's like, it's pretty big hitbox.
Yeah. Yep.
I play Caitlyn.
Oh, there it is.
No,
He...
Wow.
no surprise. I've
Okay.
just been playing Caitlyn.
Nice.
King of Caitlyn. Hell
Just
yeah.
because if I'm not fed at a lane, I just can't play the game.
Yeah.
I played here. I'm sad.
I hear you, man.
Solo queue, unfortunately.
Well, that's cool. Good to hear that you guys are, finding still, some interesting things to play. But dude, since the last time we had a show, I mean, some things have happened in the LCS, primarily with 100 Thieves. And this was a team that we were kind of up and down on this past spring split. By the end of the split, we were kind of like, oh gosh, this team sucks, right? Problems in the mid lane, problems with coaching. Well, guess what? They fixed all of that, or supposedly they made moves at least, and are trying to fix that. So first thing is that they signed Reapered, right? Ex C9 coach, which I think is definitely an upgrade. Someday got residency, which meant that they could make another import, and lo and behold, who did they get for their mid lane? Not Demonte, not Rioma. They got Abbedagge coming from Schalke in LEC. So we got to talk about that. First, let's talk about Reapered real quick because he's a longtime C9 coach, has a history of winning, great coach. What are your thoughts real quick on his coaching style? Do you think it'll work with 100 Thieves?
Not Morgana. Reapered
Morgana on the brain.
Reapered is a interesting coach. We've always talked about him that he has a very he's a dictator, right? You
Yeah.
do this, I tell you what to do, and you're just gonna pick it and you're just gonna play this. I don't care how wild the pick is or what you say. If you guys remember back to Ezreal Yumi,
Yes. Oh
C9
gosh.
died on that to not go to Worlds a while back. So I think it's gonna be interesting because I do think like C9 was like a top team, and it was his flaws that made it so like other people could sort of break out, but like 100 Thieves was floundering. They very clearly didn't have a good coaching identity. They didn't
Yeah.
have a good system. They just had a good players kind of just meshed in together. So I think Reapered can make some stuff happen with 100 Thieves, but it's like how far is it going to take them, right? They have one summer split. It's going to be they're at 4th place. You gotta make 3rd place if you want to go to Worlds, and there was a really big gap between 3rd and 4th this year.
Yeah.
They kind of just got destroyed by TSM, and the TSM was pretty terrible too. So
Yep.
it's like, I think they'll get better, but will they get better to go from 4th to 3rd? I have my doubts. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I'm on a similar trend. I do think that Abbedagge is definitely a straight upgrade. All the stuff we've been fed about Rioma being the person they wanted this whole time and the best.
No one bought it.
Maybe the best non-import,
Yeah.
but like they replaced them the second some days residency came out.
Yeah.
The reality is that I would like to hope that Reaper can fix some days role in this team. He's played a bad split last split. Like, there were some some good games, but let's like not beat around the bush. This was probably one of his worst splits here.
Yeah.
And he was on a relatively good team, like in terms of the rest of the pieces, even if there was some tumultuous mid lane issues.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good move. I think getting Reaper in there and getting this team back to a sense of identity is what they need in the short to medium term. Long term, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say if Reaper is a good coach because he's always been a C9 coach, and I think he is a good coach based on those results, but maybe he can't work with any other org.
Yeah, the players.
It's unlikely to say that though. So let's just, in my head, I'm gonna bet that it will at least improve them to like maybe a top 4 team, top 3 team, back to where they pretty much were on the cusp of before they started destabilizing this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest question is like, are they still going to be better than EG?
Yeah.
Can they still do better than Dignitas? And can they be better than TSM? Because those are the only teams, and CLG. I actually think CLG is going to improve
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. I think so.
But they have to be better than those 4 teams because we have a guaranteed top 2. Those 2 are going to Worlds. There's no argument.
No debating
They're
that.
probably going to be the teams in finals in summer. Obviously, it's early to say that, but I mean, I don't see any team that's even coming close to the strength of these 2.
Right.
So it's really just a battle for 3rd. And will Abbedagge and Reaper make enough of a change? Maybe.
Yeah.
I think he's going to make a lot of improvements, Reaper, but I'm also worried that he might change things that are already working. I mean, my example would be Sven looks a lot better now that Reaper isn't.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
know if that's related, but I mean his support didn't change, his jungle didn't change. Those are the 2 people he interacts with the most, and he's playing a lot better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think you make a good point. There were rumors that perhaps they would bring Niski back,
Hmm.
and so I mean, what do you guys think? Like they said stylistically, it looks like how do you say his name first of all? Is it
Abadage.
Abedagge.
Abedage?
Abadage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, God, I'm gonna mess that up some more. But Abedage, they said stylistically, that he plays more of the control mage, so it looks like they're pretty set on this style. Like they don't want to try to go into this roaming and play that because we did see control mages kind of dominate the meta in spring split, and so 100 thieves is buying into that. I think another cool thing if they had got Niski is that he had worked with Reapered before on Cloud9, so there may have been a little bit of chemistry there. Who knows? Maybe they didn't get along in C9. I'm not sure, but either way, they did go with Abidage. I think that's definitely an upgrade considering Demonte and
Massive upgrade.
Ryome. Yeah, Ryoma. And so that's the question. They were already top four, all things
Hmm.
considered at the end of the day. I think really the question is, it looks like they're making a push to make it to Worlds, right? To get in the top three. Just real quickly, do you think they can do that? Because honestly, it would be TSM they'd have to boot out. Can they
Yeah.
beat TSM?
I'm gonna go with no. I don't think they can.
Okay.
I think like it would take TSM to not improve at all either, right?
Mm-hmm.
TSM, they were very clearly like not super put together in summer split,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a lot of like new people. They had four new players on their roster. They're figuring a lot of things out with playstyle. Sword Art is still getting accustomed to retiring in NA, so
Yeah.
maybe he'll wake up a little bit. Um, so if we're like TSM would have to basically not improve, right? And then 100 Thieves would have to improve a lot
Mm-hmm.
for 100 Thieves to make it. I think TSM's going to improve. I think 100 Thieves is going to have to improve just like so much to actually make it above.
Mm-hmm.
And Abadage, I mean, he's a great mid laner. If you watch LEC,
Yeah.
he's a really talented young mid laner. He can definitely hold his own in laning phase, and he pops off in team fights. He has a massive champion pool.
Yep.
But mid lane is just not a very strong role right now.
Yeah.
It's a good role. It's okay, but like it's not what it used to be. It's not the faker role. It's like you do just kind of sit there and you don't impact the map a lot if you're on control mages. And if you are impacting the map early, you fall off really hard because you're just losing out on golden XP.
Mm-hmm.
You're like a second jungler, right? So I'm not convinced. I don't think it's gonna happen. Sorry,
Okay.
100 Thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm kind of on the same boat. I think that he's a massive improvement. Like if you watch LECs, there are times where you just call him, like Abba Faker or whatever we call him, and
Yeah.
I
Abba
think
Faker,
he
yeah.
is. I forgot what we actually call him, but he is very good. And probably a large reason why Shaka was even relevant and had a lot of those miracle runs they did have. Uh, I would say that if Sunday can get online and he can get on, they could contend for third. But the thing is, like, the problem is TSM had so many more pieces that they have upside on that they could
Yeah.
really delve into,
It's true.
and especially if they can unlock their bot lane with Sword Art and Lost, that team should be third place. Like, not without a doubt, but like they should be a lot better of a lock. So I want to see more competition. I think having another high tier mid lane is just only good for us and
Mm-hmm.
for competition's sake. Problem is mid lane. If the meta continues this way into summer split, if the meta continues this way, mid lane's just not as important. But it's setting up for a lot more competition in that realm because like you had a good team in the 100 Thieves and then you had like Ryoma or
Yeah. Yeah.
Monte,
Absolutely.
and it was just not impressive.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be closer than you guys think personally, just
Mm-hmm.
because for me, looking back on TSM, I genuinely feel like they don't actually improve that often. We've been saying they have the same issues for years now.
Yeah. That's true.
Now maybe that'll change with Bjergsen as coach. They've had more time off, and they'll have a lot more time off between spring and summer. But I feel like for years we've been saying they have the same problems,
Yeah.
and it's I don't know how much they're actually going to improve on that. Maybe they'll probably build more synergy. They better build more synergy. But I don't know. I think it'll be closer. I think the battle for third is actually going to be like a pretty hot topic, I think.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I kind of agree. I want TSM to do well. You guys know I'm a TSM fan, but I kind of agree with Alistair here. Towards the end of spring, TSM did not look good in my eyes. Again, they have more time since they're not going to MSI, right? To hope maybe fix things. I mean, I don't know what they're doing, if they're taking it easy right now or if they're really motivated and working hard. So we'll have to wait and see. But just from what we saw, it did not look like they were on a good trajectory. So I'm kind of along that lines where I think it'll be really interesting, that 3, 4, and 5 spot. With EG, with CLG, with Dignitas. I think it'll
Golden
be
Guardians, yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's so cold, man. That's so dirty. Niles could pop off. You never know. So, I mean, that would be a
MVP.
pleasant surprise.
I'd like to hope, but
Yeah, we'll hold, we won't hold our breath. All right. Well, look, this week I'm excited because we've had such a lull in watching games. I mean, there has been some competitive going on, but really, look, we're here for MSI. I'm ready for it to begin. Real quickly, if you don't know already how the format goes, I'm just going to briefly break it down for you guys. But essentially, there are 3 groups. There were supposed to be 4 teams in each group, but unfortunately, VCS cannot travel because of COVID. So there are going to be 3 groups, 2 with 4 teams and 1 group with 3 teams. The first round is going to be a quadruple round robin, and then the top 2 teams from each group is going to get to the next stage, which is called the Rumble stage. The Rumble stage is a double round robin, and the top 4 teams in that will advance to the knockout stage. And so from there, it's single elimination, best of 5, and we'll find out our winner. But it's going to be pretty interesting because there's a lot of games being played here, and obviously C9 is our, that's our team. So I'm rooting for them. But before we get into kind of our predictions and take a closer look at the groups, is there anybody that any particular players that you are excited to see at MSI?
Yeah. He needs no introduction at all. His name is Canyon.
Oh yeah.
Canyon is going to be, I mean, he was last year just insanely hype, and he delivered to another level. I think we have champions like Diana and Lee Sin coming
Yeah.
in. Unfortunately, Morgana too, but I'm hoping he gets some really crazy power picks. Kindred just got buffed as well.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see him pop off on some mechanically intense champions.
Oh man.
I am so bored of Udyr Hecarim.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I'm really stoked for it.
Yeah.
That's my guy, Jungle. Oh, I can't wait.
Okay.
Rip C9.
Rip C9.
So for me, I'm actually looking forward to Shahu, mostly because he's going to top lane and he's been playing that role the whole split.
Mm-hmm.
They won against a Nuguri-led FPX. So
yeah,
I don't think it was on just the back of Shahu's performance. Let's be real, but he's like a top 3, top 4 top laner, and he just lane swapped this split. I think it's going to be really interesting to see him play. I think a lot of RNG is really interesting because 3 of their players nobody has ever seen at an international event, and I think that they're going to give Dawn a run for their money.
Ooh.
So I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, I'm looking forward to Ken because he's probably the best jungler still.
Yeah.
Yes.
Until proven otherwise. So, but since Mitch already said that, I'm giving my second pick.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm with Kevin. I'm on the RNG, except I'm looking for Gala, obviously.
Mm.
Carry main.
I was going to ask you about that.
I mean,
yes.
It's kind of obvious why. I mean, he's the AD carry I don't know anything about, and I want to see if he's all that. I mean, they beat FPX, whose team looks really good right now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I mean, I focus more on ADCs for obvious reasons. I'm honestly just looking forward to the major region matchups. Like, nothing against the lower, like the minor regions, but I mean, it's major and minor for.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think there's a lot. There's just more coverage, and obviously the major regions are better. So it is more exciting to watch. I'm with you with Gala for the other reason of this is the next ADC, to carry the torch after Uzi, right? And RNG. Yeah, and so and I've seen him a little bit in the LPL, and whoo, he's got some pop off moments, and so that's going to be pretty exciting. I mean, obviously, I want to see Showmaker and Perks. I really want to see Perks play, and I mean, this is what C9 got him for, right? Like to perform in international tournaments. So this has to be the time that he proves his 11 million or however much he got paid, worth to C9. But also some old heads like BRTT. I know he's not like a huge name, but from Pain Gaming, I mean, that's pretty cool to see him back in international. So, I mean, there's a lot of good things coming out overall, just to be able to see, international teams and how they're going to all fare against each other. That's what MSI is for, and that's why we're excited to watch. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at each of the groups, kind of talk about our predictions of who we think are going to make it out. So obviously, like I said, it's the top two of each group are going to get into the Rumble stage. So let's take a look at first Group A. We have RNG, Unicorns of Love, and Pentanet.gg. Have you guys even heard of Pentanet.gg?
I haven't. I tried to look them up a little bit, and it was too hard to look them up. So
Yeah.
I know nothing about
same.
them.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, there's not a lot out there on them. So it's gonna be a hard no for me on that one. I don't know any of them.
Yeah.
So probably RNG UOL is, I'm guessing, what everybody's gonna say.
Does anybody have anything other than RNG and Unicorns of Love? I mean, obviously they're most recognizable, but I mean, this is a pretty doomed group for Pentanet.
What region are they from?
They're from LCO, which I think used to be Oceania.
So
it's the Oceania.
Yeah, Oceania League.
It's Australia, yeah.
Yeah.
Australia.
So I don't think it's gonna.
Most of their players being sent over here because they're not imports anymore.
Exactly. So I don't know really any of the players on there. I mean, obviously we just talked a lot about RNG with Xiaohu.
They have Pabu.
They got. Oh, okay. I don't know who that is. Who is that? Explain.
Pabu. He is a player that played at, I think, Worlds last year.
Okay. Well, there you go. All
He
right.
didn't make it, but yeah.
Okay. Well, there's some experience there. That's fine. But I mean, we already talked. What do you guys think about Unicorns of Love though? This is a team that again always seems to they always qualify for international tournaments. So it's not like they're new face or anything like that. I mean, as far as we're pretty sure they're going to get out of this group, but do you guys think they could make it even further, like in the top 4 maybe? Unicorns of Love.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna see if anybody said yes, but I don't think so. No.
I don't
The body
know.
of work says that UL is not getting into top
Yeah.
4, but they did get maybe a side grade, maybe a minor upgrade in Logic, the Gambit 80 carry for gadgets. So, I mean, them and Gambit have always been vying for the top spots, right? So maybe that there probably is a reason they took him in over it, but it's not. I don't think it's gonna be enough. It's not some superstar acquisition. It's just one of the better players in their region.
Okay. Yeah, so I think there's not much else to talk about. RNG Unicorns of Love probably going to make it out of this group. Group B here, we have Mad Lions, PSG Talon, Istanbul Wildcats, and Pain Gaming. Obviously the big ones here. I mean, Mad Lions. I think PSG Talon. What do you guys think about Istanbul Wildcats or Pain Gaming? Do you think they have a chance here of making it out?
I think Pain Gaming has a chance to upset PSG Talon. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think that's the most likely one to, because I'm pretty sure everyone has Mad Lions, PSG Talon, right?
Yeah.
So I think of all the groups, that's going to be the one that could actually switch. Plus, it's only 2 teams I recognize that are like, I don't know who Istanbul Wildcats are. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say historically, Turkey's been like the 5th or like the 3rd or 4th best like side region. It's usually like it's like the CIS region, and then I don't think you could count Taiwan, but Istanbul, like Supermassive's always been decent.
Yeah.
Dark
They have
Patch has
Holy
been
Phoenix.
decent.
Yeah.
They have Holy Phoenix, which is strangely the only person I recognize on that team.
Yeah.
So
same.
finally, someone broke the endless cycle of Dark Passage and Supermassive coming over. Oh, Fenerbahce once. So I actually think Istanbul is a little bit more likely to win, just because Brazil has been underperforming for so long that I just don't have any faith in them until they do perform.
But it's BRTT.
It is BRTT.
Yeah, the
and
return.
Double is still in the scene and playing at this MSI, but because Double's not here, I could care less about that. Unfortunately. He's gonna prove me wrong. Probably he's gonna just play really well. Keep in mind, PSG Talent for once again does not have a full roster.
Yeah.
They have Doggo subbing in for their 80 carry unified. Great name, but I'm not convinced that a last minute sub is gonna do that much good for them. Yeah, it's a great name.
So many memes. There's gonna be so many memes.
Oh gosh, I know.
Oh no.
Okay. Well, Alistair, what do you think? Do you think anybody besides Mad Lions or PSG Talon's getting out of here?
Probably not. I mean, I think it'd be hilarious for Mad Lions to not make it out.
Oh gosh, I know.
Again?
If they don't, it's gonna be funny.
Yeah.
But they should.
They should.
I think it's probably those two teams. I mean, they have a sub 80 carry, but I honestly don't think that will make much of a difference if you want to be completely honest. So
yeah, that's what so you think the sub for PSG Talon, you don't think that's gonna really affect things at all?
I think if it was like I think if it was like jungle or support, then then you'd have an argument. But because it's 80 carry, I feel like most 80 carries can kind of mesh into most team environments.
It's an irrelevant role, so I agree with you. Yeah,
Okay.
totally. Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, man. Why are you pooping on his role, man?
With your support, play games with your support, and you should be fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Mad Lions does deserve a little bit of conversation. So
Sure.
Last year, they didn't make it out of play-ins.
They did
right?
not. No.
That should be noted. But to be fair, they have a different top and jungle, and those were arguably the two worst players on the team last year. They replaced the top with Armut. They replaced Shadow with I'm forgetting his name at the moment.
Elyoya, I believe.
Yes.
I don't know how to
Elyoya.
say it perfectly, but it's something like that. Elyoya.
Elyoya is just like Shadow was last year. A complete rookie comes out and dominates the stage, and they actually ended up winning Spring. So hitting higher peaks than Shadow ever did. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see because he is actually playing against some veteran players in the other teams. They're of course lower region teams, but Elyoya is still a rookie. This is his first international event. This is his first year playing ever. Just like Shadow, you can still choke, you can still get the pressure to you, right? And now I believe there's going to be a crowd, maybe, perhaps, and there wasn't exactly a crowd last year in play-ins. So, I think it's definitely something to think about, right? Rookies and stuff, they can definitely struggle on the big stage.
Yeah, I agree. Anybody else got anything on Mad Lions? I mean, they were the LEC champs, so they they're here.
Yeah. They were hyped. They pretty much came back from a pretty bad start to a series with Rogue, and I mean they're the first team in a long time to upset the G2 Fnatic, mostly G2 hegemony in Europe. So I mean there's a lot to expect from this time around. They're definitely not last year's team. They could still mess up like last year, but there's no direct reason we should believe that should be the case. I think that they're probably just going to do the best, but they could drop a game to PSG even with their subs. So
I mean,
they're not going undefeated. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, they only have to beat.
Okay, making sure we're on that page.
Yeah, I mean, they only have to get past Istanbul Wildcats and Pain Gaming. So I definitely think they could do that. Whether they get through the Rumble stage, we'll get to that. But I definitely think out of this group, for sure, I think Mad Lions and PSG Talon.
I'm gonna be honest though.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not. I feel like we shouldn't be completely looking past them, considering especially TL lost to Machi and didn't make it out of groups because of it. So
yeah,
there is that conversation. Upsets can happen. Just one loss can make a difference.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
that is a
imagine
good point.
if Mad Lions lose to Istanbul Wildcats and everyone else beats them, and then there's tiebreaker and they choke.
It's not impossible. I'm just thinking it's highly unlikely, but yeah.
But we also said Machi was supposed to go 0-6.
Yeah.
So
True.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Where's the world?
Well, we'll have to see. Okay, let's go to Group C. Now this is
the good one.
This is the good one right here. We got Damwon Kia Gaming. I mean, is it Damwon Gaming Kia? I don't even know, but whatever. It's Damwon. Cloud9, Infinity Esports, and Detonation. Focus Me. from LJL, sorry. So this is I think this is going to be the most interesting one. Obviously Damwon, I think there's nobody that's going to debate. They're making it out for sure. I mean, the world champs, they still look good. I mean, of course, in Korea they were just dominating everybody, but Cloud9 I think should have a lock on number 2, but what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think
I
it's
think
gonna
so.
be Dan1, C9, 1-2. I do think that the other two teams, I recognize one or two names. I do recognize Detonation Focused Me as an org, but
Mm-hmm.
they were always a play-in team. They never really made it
Yeah.
to the main stage in MSI or Worlds in previous years. So I'm looking at those two teams. The order of which is going to be interesting, right? I think everyone's saying Dan won, but there's been a lot of talk on the Twitter sphere, on the Reddits, that
Mm-hmm.
Damwon Gaming is not nearly as good as they were last year, right? The loss of Naguri
Yeah,
is
that's big.
huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's big. Showmaker was also having some health issues too. Um, that was like a conversation happening about in the middle of the split earlier this year. So
Mm.
C9, they did struggle against a sub jungler and Team Liquid, so that's a bit worrying, but apparently they've been doing really, really well in scrims. So,
That's good to hear.
they're gonna play each other in the very first game on Thursday, I
I
believe.
know.
So,
Mm.
it's gonna tell the whole tournament, right?
Yeah.
If C9 manages to upset, right, this could be C9 riding high with a ton of confidence. They could actually do something at this. If they lose in terrible fashion, we could see C9 poop out right as soon as we get to bracket stage, right? They
Mm-hmm.
make it out of group 1, they make it out of group 2, they hit semis, they lose, right?
Yeah.
Top 4, that's what most people are gonna predict them, right? 4th place in the major regions. But this first game is going to set the pace, it's going to set the tone for NA fans.
Dude, if
for sure.
C9 wins that, that's it, man. I'm just that I count that as a win. We won MSI.
We win MSI. Let's go.
Yeah.
That'd be hype. That'd be
Yeah.
hype.
Yeah, I'm actually on the same boat with that. Not just losing Naguri that's a big deal. Like we've seen
Yeah.
Con, like he was on FPX. They literally switched their top lane.
They did, yeah.
There was a huge power shift there.
Mhm.
I think that LCK was just extremely underwhelming. Like the amount of practice,
Yeah.
the level of practice they were getting this time around. T1, they're not SKT anymore. T1 is like in shambles, like a total mess of a roster the whole year until like towards the end, and they had Gen G as their competition. They just absolutely curb stomped them. Like, it's a little hard to get a read on them. I just don't think that, I think objectively they just did not get as much high level practice as they probably need to keep a high standard.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have probably, most people would agree, a worst top laner at the current time, Con.
Yeah.
He's not bad by any means. And if there's anyone who can, take a Korean team on and, not be scared of them, it is Perks and his teams. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I'm excited for it. A note to the other teams, DFM and Infinity, that's Latin American LLA, and then that's Japan. They've faced
LGL.
before. I think they went 1-1 in a group stage before against each other. DFM changed their mid laner. Their mid laner is now like the best player in Japan.
Sick.
So I don't know what that really adds up to, but it's a Korean player. His name's Arya, I believe.
Arya.
That's all I found out when I looked into them. And so, they always had a mid laner named like Saros or something who would play like Ziggs and other wonky mid laners, and now they just have a very good mid laner. So maybe it's enough. I think Yudapon's actually a good AD carry. Every time I've watched him at Worlds, he does his job quite well, but his team has always kind of dropped the ball from there. So we'll see if this is enough, but you probably expect between both of those teams, you may expect like one upset on maybe Cloud9.
Right.
I don't think Korean teams tend to lose to wildcard teams.
Nope.
Very rarely.
Unless you're LGD. Wait, that was China.
That's not Korea, but yes. LGD.
They had a bunch of Korean players on that team.
Yes, they did. They did.
Yeah.
It's easy to get confused. Corporate wants you to tell the difference between these two pictures.
Yeah. Peanut? Korean or Chinese player?
All right, Alistair, you think it's Damwon and Cloud9, or do you got other ideas?
I mean, I think it's gonna be Damwon, Cloud9. I mean, I would still put Damwon over Cloud9.
Yeah.
I get that maybe they're not as good because they don't have Nuguri, but I mean, I just don't see a world where Cloud9 could consistently beat Damwon compared to Damwon consistently beating Cloud9.
True. That's why it's a best of one, baby.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
there's 4 of them, isn't there?
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There's it's a quadruple round robin.
Quadruple round
Yeah,
robin.
it's
Yeah,
4 best of ones.
yeah.
Yep.
I would probably guess maybe Cloud9 takes 1 game.
Yep.
That's that's my guess.
Like
And
I
that's
said,
2 and 2 would be that would surprise me to. I don't know. I can't think of it.
well, like I said, man, if they beat them once, like I consider we won. We won MSI. We beat world champs, man. That's all I'm saying. But I look, if they make it out, like I think that's fine. Like I think there's a high, anything can happen, but I do think there's a high chance Cloud9 and Damwon will make it out. So I think we kind of, there's not really a lot of debate on who the top 6 will be. Now with the top 6, we kind of said Damwon, C9, RNG, Unicorns of Love, Mad Lions, PSG Talon. Now out of those 6 in the Rumble stage, the top 4 will advance. Who do you guys have as top 4? Let's start with you, Mitchell.
It's just the major regions.
Okay,
It's
major
Mad
regions.
Lions, C9, RNG, and Damwon Gaming.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much argument to that.
I don't
Okay.
think you can until we see them play, honestly, because
It's true.
like, if we go off of prior expectations, it's probably not going to happen. Even in group stage, if we see like, some of these teams actually upset the major regions, I'm still going to say it was a fluke, right? It's going to take so
That's
much
true.
to convince me that these lower tier regions are actually a real team that can make it to top 4.
Yeah.
So, that's just where I'm at. I'm gonna be like, it was a fluke. Okay, sure.
Well, then
take a couple games off,
let's skip that then, because I mean I
Yeah.
think that's also pretty consensus. The major regions are gonna get in, barring some kind of miracle upset. I think there's a good chance that the 4 major regions get it into the knockout stages. All right. Now let's rank our top 4. Give me the rankings here of who you think that your top 4 teams are, and then that we'll leave it at that, because I think we're pretty agreed up until this point. So we'll start with you, Mitchell.
All right. So I don't know what everyone's rankings are because I think a lot of it is fairly predictable, except the top 2, right? Basically, are you going Korea or China? I'm going China. I'm going RNG. So I'm gonna go RNG, Damwon Gaming, Mad Lions, C9.
Okay.
I think that's gonna be the top 4. Um, I think there's also some conversation I had about 3rd and 4th place, right? Mad Lions versus C9.
Sure.
I do think that C9 versus Mad Lions is really, really close. I'm just a little worried about the top side for C9, as in Fudge.
Fudge, yeah.
I'm a little nervous about him. Our mood is not amazing or anything, but I feel like I have more faith in Armut, and EU just tends to do better at these international events.
Yeah.
But yeah, RNG, right? Gala's crazy. That
Yeah.
guy's cracked. Ming is so insane. Probably
he's
the
really
best
good.
support in the world right now by a big margin too. So
Yeah.
that's my list.
Okay. Kevin, agree, disagree?
I agree. I'm surprised that we have the exact same list. I think it's the same order. I think that if you watch LPL, this split was crazy. There was it was top EDG was a top team, FPX was a top team,
Yep.
IG was in the playoffs,
IG, yeah.
pretty far too, and JDG was up there. Like they had to go through that whole gauntlet essentially. All of them had to face each other in some way or another.
Yeah.
And then in the finals, like RNG just looked definitively better than FPX. Although FPX 3-0 them beforehand, so like it is very back and forth. But RNG looks like a super strong team. You've got a team that's actually won MSI. This is the only team here with any MSI experience at the tournament, except for the Detonation Focus Me, which was last. So like
And specific players like Perks. He's won.
and Perks.
players.
And Perks,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think that there's a lot of power here on this team. I think Wei's actually quite a good jungler. I don't think he's Cannon tier, but I don't think he's get run over by Cannon tier either. And I also do think Gala is going to be better than Ghost. I don't know how much that will matter, but Gala Ming is a very strong bot lane.
Heck, yeah.
Maybe they can pressure Damwon game through that. I hope they can. I don't think it's Damwon's fault that they're ranked second here. It's literally just they have such a weak top side of the bracket in terms of competition back home. I think Mad Lions, unfortunately, is better than C9 currently until we see otherwise, because C9 looked like they were struggling against a team that had Grig as their sub.
Yeah.
And Mad Lions slayed a lot of giants on their way here, so
Yeah, they did.
I have to give them a lot more credit there.
Okay.
Also in a harder region, typically.
Yep.
Absolutely. Alistair, are you in agreement with these first two?
Yeah, I mean, I just I didn't watch as much of the Asian leagues, so I'm missing out on some information personally.
Hmm.
But I mean, I feel like China's just a better region with better competition. I mean,
Yeah, that's the hard
if you
part.
look
Yep.
at every major region, with the exception of Korea, most of the playoffs are pretty close. I mean, every finals was a 3-2, except for Korea, which was just a 3-0 thrashing.
Yeah.
Which I
Mhm.
mean, we said this last year. Damwon is Korea. Not there isn't really another team that's like actually fighting for contention to
Yep.
win it. Like there used to be 3 teams that could all win it. Which team do you think is gonna win? No, it's Damwon. And but I'm gonna go RNG Damwon. Bottom two. I don't know whoever shows up on the day.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of, I don't know. I think this is kind of how it goes anyways in Worlds or any, MSI or any international. China has been dominating, Europe for a while, but I'd say China, then Korea, or vice versa. And then it's always a battle for who's that third, fourth spot between Europe and NA, right? And I think,
what I do actually want to mention
yeah,
is the Rumble stage is actually going to be um, really important because that determines seeding.
seeding, yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
definitely.
Because there is definitely a world where we just see like C9 Damwon in um or in finals, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean I don't know exactly how stylistically which team should be favored over either. I mean to be fair, I think RNG just beats any team anyways.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah, that could change things.
yeah,
Hmm.
the seeding's gonna matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, there's a chance that, like if there's a little bit of upstage like upsets in the Rumble stage,
Hmm.
like you could see someone who should make finals just poop out in semis, right?
Yeah.
Because they're playing like, Mad Lions may deserve second place, but they might end up playing RNG or Danwon and end up
Hmm.
like fourth or something, right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be complicated. It's gonna be an interesting tournament for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement with the rankings. I'm the same with you guys. I think it is just going to matter with the seeding, and we'll see. I do think RNG is the best team up until this point. So it's going to be. Is that your cat? Is that your cat, Kevin? Okay. Well, let's go on then to the meta.
Super
Oh,
quick.
okay.
Sorry, I should have said this earlier. I was thinking about this in my head, and I was just realizing we
All
were kind
right.
of saying the same thing about Danwon Gaming
Yeah.
at Worlds last year. We were saying their
Mhm.
region was really weak, and the
Yeah.
second and third place teams from Korea also sucked, and they ended up winning the whole thing. They
That's
ended up
true.
3-1ing Suning, right? We thought Top Esports was gonna win the whole thing. We thought JDG was gonna win it. We thought maybe G2 was gonna win it. None of them were actually really that close, right? It was
Yeah.
Suning that was close-ish, right? They took one game off
I
of Danwon.
I thought I thought it was TES, JDG, Damwon. Those were the 3 favorites to win. At least that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I
they were.
remember.
They were the favorites, but everyone thought Danwon was like, the
Second.
region was the worst.
Yeah.
Not the worst, but the region was weaker than LPL and potentially even EU.
No,
Um,
yeah, but
yeah.
Damwon's just a lot better than their region itself. I remember. I know we were saying that. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
That's the same argument that we're having now though, where it's
Yeah.
like, their region does suck, but Damwon Gaming still shows up, right? So
Yeah.
they're the reigning world
Yeah.
champions.
So they could win
could-
MSI.
They
Yeah,
could still
is
win
what you're
MSI,
saying. Yeah.
right? So we all ranked RNG first, but there's a chance that Damwon Gaming could win the whole thing. I mean, they just won Worlds, right? So
And it's
I just wanted
because
to put that out there.
China is such a competitive region that you would assume that they are like well-oiled machines no matter who came out on top in China. Like it's like if it was whether it's RNG or whether if it was FPX or whoever, if they came out here, we probably would have been saying the same thing. They're better practice, they have better competition, they're playing top talent all the time. Like theoretically, you would think that would be the team most prepared to win. But like you said, you pointed out and made a good point there, Mitchell, is that last year we were kind of saying the same thing. And even though Damwon was miles ahead of Korea hey, they still proved that they were the best. We could see that
Being
again
miles
happen.
ahead of Korea is enough to win
So it's
the whole
enough to
thing.
win. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. A good take there. I think that maybe that's a little kind of like caveat to the twist of this narrative of China being so good.
I mean,
So
MSI is the tourney of upsets.
heck
GT
yeah.
won the whole tournament. We've had 2 NA teams make MSI finals, one of which beat a reigning world champion. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
That's
We're
right.
just gonna see something crazy, like C9 make the finals.
I'm all
had
about
to
it,
get the Team
man.
Liquid in. You had to get them
You had to get Team Liquid in, didn't you?
If I don't do it, no one will. So,
True. As he's wearing his Cloud9 shirt, by the way. Hey,
hey,
guys,
I support the team and I support NA.
for you guys who missed a couple of episodes ago, Kevin lost a bet to Kimmer, who's in our Discord, and because Team Liquid lost, he had to wear a C9 shirt today, and he followed through. So a man of his word, Kevin, wearing his C9 shirt, supporting NA at MSI. Good for you. But one thing I do want to talk about before we get out of here is the meta for MSI, because NA was so far behind, right? Like we were 2 patches behind, I think. And so it's going to be a completely different ball game, so to speak, in quotes, for a league in MSI. So I don't even know where to start here. So I'm just going to let you guys kind of unload your thoughts on the meta for what we will see or potentially we'll see for MSI.
So, I think we'll let Alistair focus on the ADC and support.
Good call. Yeah, good call.
Clearly, he knows the most about those roles.
Yeah.
But I can go with top lane.
Sure.
Top lane is honestly there's still some Gnar. There's still a good amount of Gnar,
Mhm.
but we're seeing an interesting that we talked about earlier in the podcast, which is Lee Sin
Yeah.
in solo lanes. Lee Sin top lane is interesting. You max E, it got buffed, and you just kind of wave clear with you got like Iron Spike Whip from Gore
Mhm.
Drinker, and you got Tiamat, and you just kind of sustain, wave clear. You can duel. You have a lot of early damage, and games are usually over around 3-4 items, and that's when he's at his best, right? He is
Mhm.
strong all the way up to that 3-4 item area, and then he falls off a huge cliff. But if you can end the game before that, which is totally reasonable, Lee Sin solo lane could be a real thing. I'm not super convinced how good it is, but that's an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Someone else can talk for a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other interesting thing is that the Udyr Hecarim we saw all the time.
Oh
on
gosh,
11.5,
yeah.
and even in 11.6, like
Mhm.
is almost certainly gonna be less than that. I hope we don't see Pro Morgana jungle, but I think is a possibility. I think
Yeah.
in my own games I've seen Viego an unusual amount, which I don't know if that's a
He's
pro
not
level
enabled.
meta pick.
Oh, he's not
still?
enabled.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
not enabled. Neither is Gwen. Yeah.
Okay, well I'm glad Gwen isn't because it's too early for that. But
Mhm.
Viego's been out for the whole year.
hmm
Um,
Too many bugs.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, too many bugs.
He's gonna be like a Azir thing where we're like, well, Azir's been out for a while, but he's never been played in pro. I wonder how good he is, and then absolutely dominates when he finally works.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, we might see Lee Sin everywhere. Honestly, like, yes, he's not the best jungler, but I think in my games he's the most seen jungler. I'm like, why is there so many Lee Sins?
Mm.
So it's either soul, and you could just flex them between soul lanes and jungle, which is always a big plus in pro play. We have a lot of great Lee Sin players historically. I'm sure Cannon's just gonna absolutely wreck people, or maybe LOL will pull it out. Although I haven't seen him play as much, so look forward to see a lot of high level Lee Sin play, which at a pro level I do enjoy watching. In the solo queue, not so much.
Yeah, exactly.
I think other champions I think flex picks are gonna be the name of the game. So
Mm.
Morgana, going back to her, she's like a pentaflex in a way, in a sense, right? You can kind of flex her into every
That's
single
true.
role. It's really more of just a triple flex, right? Mid, jungle, and support. But you can play her top lane in certain matchups. You can just AFK wave clear and play
Mhm.
her. You can play her as a bot lane carry. You just wave clear and AFK, and you're much stronger than ADC around like 1-2 items.
Yeah.
So that could be a thing. I think Diana is going to be a really, really
Oh
big
yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
She's a double flex, right? Her jungle clear is insane, and
Yep.
she has a couple of very specific, really good matchups into control mages in the mid lane. Um, if you're playing something like a Victor or an Azir or an Anivia, and you see a Diana, you're very, very sad.
Oh yeah.
So maybe see her mid lane, and I think the last one for me is Rumble, right? Rumble
Mhm.
could see is also a triple flex. He's seeing a lot of play in top lane and mid lane, But the jungle, Rumble in the jungle, he has an insanely
Yeah.
fast clear.
Oh yeah,
With
it's
his
really
passive,
fast.
you can just destroy camps. So
And that's the name of the game too. Clear the jungle.
clear the jungle,
Yeah.
spike early. So a lot of AP junglers gonna pop up.
Honorable mention.
Yes.
We might see Zach.
Oh,
He
think
did
we
get
might see
buffed
Zach.
too. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we're gonna see Zach.
I hope we
That
do
would be
because I
hype.
love that
I
champ.
love watching Zach.
I
though.
love Zach.
I
Yeah.
love that champion.
Yeah,
Well-
Kevin is the Zach connoisseur.
Yeah.
Sir.
Savant.
That's true.
For a long time.
Well, before we get to
tank jungles.
your thoughts on ADC, a couple of champions I want to ask you guys about. Do you think we'll still see Lilia? What about Urgot? Because Urgot's pretty strong too. And is there anything besides the bot lane, any other champs that you think might make an appearance that we haven't seen?
Kiana, Silas, Akali, Rise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Akali.
Kiana, super strong. Akali,
Yes.
yes, that's right.
Yes. Akali and Kiana, definitely we could see. I think for sure Akali, just because we have so many Akali players.
Ooh,
That's
yeah.
a big one. Silas, of course, we're seeing a little bit of him, but he will see
Mhm.
more. Kindred got a really big buff. I'm just not sure if it was enough, but
Mhm.
she got a big buff, and we do have 2 Kindred players in Blabber
Oh,
and
yeah.
Canyon. So we might see those. Yeah. Lulu also. Apparently Lulu
That's
is
right.
just the support
She's
to
broken.
have.
She's
she-
best support in the game, I think.
Yeah,
So I mean, I know we weren't talking about bot lane yet, but she's a flex, so you gotta
she
talk
could
about
be.
her
Yep,
top and
she
mid
could
lane.
be top.
Yep.
Yeah, or
She's
mid.
like the seasons. She just randomly shows back up in the meta when other things have been nerfed, and she's like, "Yep, I'm back.
I wouldn't
haven't
say
been
random.
touched."
She got really big buffs.
She did get
But
big
this
buffs.
season.
Yeah.
Oh, I
she
don't
got
read
the-
the supports at all. I just
Her
don't care.
her W attack speed got increased by 10% at level 1.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
really
no.
big. It's really big.
I've also been playing her with Shirelias, and it's
broken. Shirelias is so
pretty fun because Shirelias is
really strong.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
really strong. So it might be interesting
World
to
of
see
Temp
her.
Tank is dead. Now we go to Shirelli.
Shirelias, anything that can
Full
make us
random.
fast. Yeah, anything that makes us
Sure,
fast.
That makes more people fast. So that's
Yes,
concerning, but,
it really is. Yeah. Okay. All right, Alistair, hit us with your top ADC meta
Actually,
picks.
Before we say ADC, I do want to go to support.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we're going to see 50-50 for enchanters and engage. I think we're still
Ooh.
going to see a lot of engage supports because if you're looking at the meta for every other role, where are you getting your engage? Right?
That's
we're
true.
still going to see the Rel. We're still going to see the probably Nautilus, Gragas, Leona. We're still going to see all those. Enchanters, we're probably going to see Lulu, Janna, maybe Bard.
We'll see
Okay.
Morgana. Yep.
Yeah, Morgana.
I think we can see
I don't
more.
really. Morgana's her own class of champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. She's not a hard enchant or anything. But
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe a little spicy. I think we might see a bit of Zillion. He's
Ooh.
super good with Shirelias.
Yeah, he is.
I think he's gonna be. I think he actually might. We might see some flex pick Zillions.
That'd be hype.
Yeah, that would
Dude,
be.
where's Bjergsen when we need him?
This is his time to shine. Yeah.
If Perks
For
can't make it for
ADC
some reason, do we get Bjergsen?
That would
Is that
be
how it
amazing.
works?
Sub him in.
C9
Let's go.
Bjergsen.
Yeah, C9
Ooh.
Bjergsen.
my
The
God.
world would
Whoa.
explode.
Heck
by the way.
yeah.
That would be interesting.
I'd be sad.
For
Probably
AD
break some
carry,
fundamental
I mean,
universal
honestly,
rules.
Yeah.
Kog'Maw is gonna be a big one. I feel like we're gonna see
Ooh.
Cog Lulu.
You're actually gonna say Cog Lulu?
Cog
Okay.
Lulu.
Cog Lulu.
Wow. Do you
Um,
go Quick Blades? That's the build I've been hearing about.
Yeah, that's the one I've been on for a while.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think Rage Blade's trash. Don't build Rage
Yep.
Blade.
I agree. I think it's bad to go Quick Blades.
Obviously we're gonna see Kaisa. Obviously we're gonna see Zaya.
Jinx?
Yeah, we're probably still gonna see Jinx. I think she's still really good even after the bug fix nerf.
Mhm.
What
I don't know,
about Aphelios? He did get buffed in 11.8, and pro
We
players
saw
are
him
playing
some.
him.
Yeah, we did see him
Yeah,
some
we'll
too.
probably see Aphelios because he's okay in pro play, but don't play him in solo queue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, I think we'll see a lot of variety. I think most AD carries are viable, especially in the competitive scene. Even though Ezreal's like a 46% win rate, we're still gonna see Ezreal at this
We're
tournament.
still gonna see Ezreal for sure. We're still
Where-
gonna see probably some misfortune, maybe like once or twice here and there.
Yeah.
I also
There's gonna be a
think
lot of variety. Seraphine. We didn't mention Seraphine.
Oh, we didn't.
Seraphine. Oh,
She's
yeah.
still Giga broken.
She's still busted. Yes, she is still super busted. She is technically only a double flex for pro play, but you can triple flex her bot, support, and mid lane. She can be a bot lane, sort of like
Yeah, that's right.
farmer. So yeah, I think Seraphine was strong. Moonstone did just get buffed, but I've been seeing Shirelia's and I've been seeing Leandri's on her. So I don't know. There's a bunch of different builds you can go on Seraphine. So I don't know if you still go Moonstone because it's been nerfed so much on
Yeah.
her.
Mm-hmm.
Something I wanted to ask was Senna. So I
Yeah,
know the tank
it's a good
Senna,
one.
you're not really a big fan of, but the Senna TK, the Senna Tahm Kench,
Mm-hmm.
the Senna Sion, Senna Cho'Gath, Senna Wukong, all these different lanes.
Yep.
We know C9 likes to play it. We know there's going to be some experimentation, right? You get to early pick a solo laner and flex it with a Senna. So I don't know what your thoughts are on, just normal old Rageblade, Kraken Senna. Or will we see tank Senna,
I would be very surprised if we see tank Senna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't. The reason I say it's not good is not because I think it's annoying. Sure, it's annoying, but it's like a little mosquito. It doesn't do damage, and what's the point of building tank on your AD carry if your AD carry is not going to do damage while tank? You can build tank on Vayne because Vayne's still going to do a lot of damage. Senna won't.
I mean,
And
I have
feel
seen.
like-
I have seen some pros. Of course, they're gonna try it out, so I don't know if it necessarily means anything. But I've been seeing a lot of high elo Chinese and Korean players playing tank Senna as ADC with Tahm Kench and other picks like you'd mentioned, Mitchell. Tank Senna. Whether that comes into pro, I don't know. And I do agree with you, Alistair. Like, I just don't know why. It just works though. Like, I don't know.
Mental warfare. It's straight up mental warfare.
Maybe that's what it
all I
is.
believe it is.
Yeah.
I just don't see the point. There's a reason tanks are great weak side champions.
Yeah.
Because they don't require resources. So why would you funnel resources into someone to build tank items?
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll
We'll
see.
see.
When again, right now there isn't really a lot of DPS coming from any
True.
other role. It's just burst.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
But it works though. Burst is fine enough because your DPS
Yeah.
is actually just your bruiser / tank.
I agree,
true.
but what happens if you can't get through the front line because your AD carry is a tank?
Yeah.
Well, they do usually build like Black Cleaver.
Yeah,
So
but it's still not enough damage.
Takes a while.
it does take a while. Yeah, I mean, you have to get stacks too. Like
All
that's
right, this is not the conversation,
Yeah.
guys. We've had this back and forth before.
If
Yeah.
we're gonna see Senna, which I'm confident we're gonna see Senna,
yeah.
Okay.
it's going to be damage. I would
Okay.
be very
Okay.
surprised if we see tank.
Will we see Thresh? He was very, very high prio in all of Spring Split, but he's been nerfed, I think, twice now in
Mhm.
a row. What are your thoughts on Thresh? I think he's still really good, but he's a
I
lot
think he's still
weaker.
really good, but I think priorities definitely be a lot lower on him.
Mm-hmm.
The reason you'd pick Thresh is because you could go Guardian Lantern max.
Yep.
And it was super strong. You'd have super good roaming, laning phase, and you had great peel. You kind of just did everything.
Yeah.
You were ranged for lane pressure and everything. Now that it's more back to Aftershock, Thresh is what I'm seeing mostly. I think we're still going to see Thresh just because Thresh is like the perfect support.
Yeah, it's
champion.
just a
He's
good
peel,
support.
He's engaged. He's disengaged.
Playmaker. People are just insane at the champ sometimes.
Thresh does everything.
Yeah.
We will likely see Thresh. I don't think he's going to be pick or ban like he was.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think Rel is just going to be the best support.
Yeah, I think
so.
there's just better options. That's why. I mean, Thresh is always a good.
Permanently going to be the best because
Yep.
of
Yeah.
her undodgeable engage.
Mhm.
Yeah. Rel's just going to be way too insane. She's probably going to be close to permaban, I think.
Yeah.
And then people are going to try and counter her with Alistar and Thresh and still get womboed.
Yeah.
The fact that Rel should be the worst B1 pick in the game, but everyone's B1 because she's so broken.
Yeah.
Her,
Yeah.
her
It's just-
engage is too strong.
Yeah,
Just-
it's way too good. She's gonna
yeah.
be perma pick.
she's like one of those champs that like scales, but not with stats, just with time, right? Because
Mhm.
you can play against a Thresh and Alistar, and you can get dumpstered on in lane. You can die a couple times. You get one good engage, a dragon fight. You're all of a sudden it doesn't matter what happened in laning phase. So
Yeah.
Rel is a crazy champion.
It's true.
She also has the utility that everyone forgets about. First of all, she steals resistances
Yeah.
with her
yeah.
passive, which
Mhm.
everyone forgets about, which makes her super tanky and makes you super squishy. And on
Mhm.
top of that, she breaks shields.
Yep.
And especially
Morgana.
if we're going into, Lulu,
Yeah.
just pick Rel. She's gonna break shields. We're gonna see Sterix. We're gonna see shield champions. We're gonna see all this, and she's just gonna break them.
Lulu,
Champions
Morgana,
just-
Diana. Yep,
Exactly.
lots of shields.
A
I
lot
agree.
going on, yeah.
I think some honorable mentions before we finish this up for me, anyways, is Vlad. He did get a small
Might.
buff.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's
A
pretty
lot of
bonkers in solo queue. I know that. So
Yeah,
Very
a
nice.
lot of players like playing him, like
Uh-huh.
Khan. Khan loves playing Vlad.
Yeah.
So I think he could be interesting, right? Like Shen did get a buff, right? So if you play Shen, you might see Vlad, right?
Yeah.
So those are a bit of in tandem picks. If you play a tank top, you might just see Vlad up there. So another pick that I actually have no idea if we'll see, two of them actually, is Darius and Yorick. So Darius
Mm,
has a
yeah.
bonkers jungle clear, and he's a flex to top lane. We did see Darius played a lot in LEC actually too. Um,
Broken Blade.
Broken Blade,
Yeah.
exactly. We saw Darius played in, I think, collegiate finals as well.
Mhm.
So Darius is still a champion. I don't know if we'll see him in pro play. That could be interesting. And Yorick, we didn't ever get to see Yorick because I think his mini rework didn't show up. But Yorick is still an incredibly oppressive champion if you can't deal with his little
Yeah.
ghouls and if you can't dash out of his pit. Um, you leave lane for 5 seconds, your turret's gone. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see some Yorick. Maybe we'll see some
I
Darius.
actually have some too.
Yeah.
That because you reminded me. So I think we're gonna see some Xerath.
Ooh.
He got buffed,
Really
yep.
big buffs. I
Mhm.
think we're gonna see Xerath. I think we actually might see Trundle. Or yeah, Trundle, Tarek, and Set.
Oh, I think I agree for sure with the Trundle and Set. I don't know about the Tarek, but
Yeah.
the Tarek is
Tarek is super good right now. He is
okay. Interesting.
he is really good into almost all of the meta supports. You can actually flex him jungle if you practice on it. It's really strong.
Interesting. I gotta
Um,
try that.
yeah, no, if you have duo mid lane, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty. What about some other picks like do you think we'll see Nidalee or Renekton or
Or the old
Nocturne?
picks.
Yeah, like old
Yeah.
picks, like
Renekton Nocturne for sure.
okay,
Nidalee,
maybe not Nidalee.
I think she's gonna fall off. I think we might see one or two, but I think people are gonna say like, yeah, this is.
What about
I-
Lilia?
Yeah, Lily is interesting. So with Nidalee, I'll go with Nidalee. So
Okay.
I think that it depends what the jungle meta starts off, right? If we're playing Diana Morgana, I don't think
Mhm.
we're gonna see Nidalee.
That's
if
true.
we're seeing Lee Sin, like let's say one jungler blind picks Lee Sin, and you have Canyon or Blabber on the other side, they're like, yeah, pick me Nidalee. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
that's
outplay
true.
this Lee Sin with Nidalee. So we might see that. Honestly, we might still see Udyr. I think we might still see Udyr too. We're not going to see Hecarim. I think that's not happening, but I think there's a chance we see Udyr just because Udyr is actually really good into Lee Sin. He outstats him at every point in the game.
Yeah.
You can't fight an Udyr ever as a Lee Sin unless you're like way more fed. So, but Lilia is always a tough one for me to judge as a jungler. She like
Yeah.
has all these great things, right? Like
Mhm.
she has really fast clear. She's an AP jungler. She's got CC. She has very non-committal engage, but like she just doesn't duel. You know, she doesn't duel.
Yeah, she doesn't. Yeah.
Her skirmishing is decent. Her team fighting is decent, but they're not like great. She just is like pretty decent at all these variety of things. She doesn't solo dragons very well, right? Like we're seeing a lot of junglers able to like go to dragon and solo it exactly 5 minutes right now.
Yeah.
So
She's a
Lily
failure
is
to the
the-
jungle.
Yeah. she's
What
kind of a
about
failure.
Elise? C2 Chase, cut to the chase. Asked what about Elise?
I think Elise is definitely going to be like if you have Renekton, you can see Elise, and
Yeah.
if like there was like 4 or 5 jungle bans, Elise can definitely see some play. Elise is probably the best jungler in solo queue, like win rate rise
Yeah.
right now. And she's so good. Like she does a ton of damage. Her early game is like so crazy.
It is.
The 4 camp clear that I've been seeing a lot is really really strong. You don't do
Mhm.
3, you do 4 camp, and then you go fight. Yeah, I mean I think it's good into Lee Sin and Elise for sure. But
It
I
really
think
does
if you're-
seem. It really does seem like there. Now that we've been talking about it, it seems like there's a lot of options here.
There are.
It really does seem like there's a lot of option, and that's great because we don't know. I mean, when it all happens, it might end up just being 2 or 3 champs, and we're like, oh crap, it's just that. But it does seem like right now, before we've seen anything, there are a lot of viable options in all the lanes that I think are drastically different than what we saw in spring. So to kind of tie it up or wrap everything up, is there anything else that you guys want to kind of talk about in the meta that we may see or that, we might be surprised with?
It was a very dragon-focused meta.
True.
I have a feeling, especially the Chinese and the Korean teams, and whoever team picks up on it, is you just ditch the first 2 dragons.
Yeah, and
you
go
just
for
get
Rift.
gold.
Yeah,
you
gold.
You don't care about the
Yep.
first 2 dragons at
Funnel
all.
your bruiser.
Yeah, funnel your bruiser. Just go all top lane. All top lane. You get Rift Herald, you counter jungle, you zone the enemy top laner off of waves. You don't even care about diving them, right? You just want to chunk them and zone off a wave or 2. And yeah, like teams are actually taking, like, if I get like a camp and like a wave advantage over the top laner, it's worth a dragon, which is kind of wild.
Yeah.
But I've been seeing a lot of teams talk about it and say that it's worth, because you just win the next dragon fights.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It is kind of, the games do seem to be quicker paced, and that is good. When you're trying to get ahead on all these snowbally champions like Diana or, Lee Sin and these sorts of things. So you want to get those good early gold leads to then, set you up to get those later 2 dragons. So I think that totally makes sense. And the way that Chinese teams and Koreans teams play, I'd seen this on, I think it was Crackdown, but they were talking about how well these teams will kind of do their clears. The jungles will do their clears, and the top lane will have the wave set up to where it's perfectly crashing in, and they can do their camps and go right for a dive, like to line it up, and they straight up go for it in the beginning. And I'm wondering how the Western teams will kind of approach that, and if they're prepared for it. But it's going to be interesting, clash of styles. So anything else that you guys want to say before we wrap it up?
Just before we wrap it up, I just want to say, thanks for watching.
Absolutely.
We're back.
It's exciting, man. I am excited, man. This is going to be some awesome games. We just talked about a lot of stuff and like all these champs that you're like, it's really getting like, now that I'm hearing it all in my head again, I can't wait to see what happens.
I can't wait to see. Yeah. Go ahead.
The first time in a long time that we'll actually see the wildcard teams go straight up against the top teams, because they've been separated by this play-in barrier for a long time, and they just like, let's mix them in again. So we might see some interesting strategies, to say the least.
We could see some weird stuff. Like, a lot of these lower region teams are going to be like, we're cheesing. I'm cheesing every single game. I don't care. Yeah. So I'm just super excited. We're going to be having watch parties.
Oh,
if
yeah.
we can, right? Some of it's on weekdays, some of it's on weekends. So we'll figure it out when.
Yeah.
But we'll send a ping in the Discord. But, we're going to be talking in the Discord. We're going to be making tweets. We're going to be making jokes, right? Next week when we do the podcast.
Oh, it's going to be on. It's going to be hype.
I'm going to be like, what just happened? There was like 6 million games.
All I know is I know. Okay, it'll start this Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern time, I believe. So if that's the case, I will definitely be doing a watch party, because I have to see, and it's going to be it will be Cloud9 versus Damwon. So yes, I'm hype about that. Hopefully it turns out good, but we'll have to see. All right, well, that's awesome. I'm so glad to be back. Thank you again to my awesome co-host Kevin, Mitchell, Alistair. It is so great to start talking League again. I'm hyped up for more competitive play. Remember, guys, if you haven't joined the Discord, please do so. We want this to be your podcast as well. You could submit your takes, interact with us, play games with us, all that sort of stuff. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to email us at questions@theallinpodcast.gg, or you can tweet us at theallinpodcast, and we will definitely, we'd love to talk to you. But until next time, guys, enjoy your climb on the Rift. Try not to be too toxic, and we will see you all on the next episode. Peace.